Someone sent me this project to review. The name of the project is Nextfi. It is said to be a decentralized smart contract project that pays 0.3% for 1 day investment, 1% for 7 days investment, and then 1.5% daily for 30 days investment. And according to them, it has automated compounding, which gives you 28% net income monthly. All right. Um, so according to them, when you stake like $100, you earn about $128 after 1 month. If you stake $300, you earn $384 after 1 month. If you stake $500, you earn $640 after 1 month. And then if you stake $1,000, you earn $1,280 after 1 month. All right. So referral earnings, direct referral is 10%, and then you earn from team up to 40%. All right. So we are going to review this project. They also went ahead to provide their contract address. They have their token contract, staking contract, donation pass, treasury contract, treasury USDT, transaction tax, pancake LP, initial address, donation withdrawal, which makes the project look very transparent, right? So we are going to be reviewing this project, both the front end and also the contract code, to ascertain the authenticity of this project. All right, so you can see that we are on the home page of Nextfi, right? Now, this is what you do in this particular project. When you connect your wallet in this project, you click on donate pools, right? So if you click on donate pools, it will take you to this particular page where you fill in the amount you want to donate, and then enter your pass ID, and then choose the number of days you want to donate, and you start earning. All right, that is how this project work. So they have 1 day which will give you 0.3%, 7 days which will give you 1% per day, and then 30 days which will give you 1.5% per day. All right, so that is how this particular project works. All right, so now let's take a look at who is, to know when this project was created. All right, so as you can see, this Nextfi.now registered on 2nd of September 2020. That means this project is a very new project, and like I always say, every new project is, the risk factor of a new project is always high because they haven't passed through the test of time. So when you are investing on a new project, you need to always apply your risk management and don't invest what you cannot afford to lose. All right, so that is it. So for the record, this is still a very new project. All right, so that is that. Now we are going to, having seen the front end and the day the project was created, the next thing we are going to look at is the contract address. All right, so their contract addresses, they have, as you can see from what I said initially, they have numerous contract addresses, but we'll be looking at the most important of those contract address, which is the token contract address, which is actually the major aspect of the project. The major source of the liquidity, all right, is the token. All right, so we are going to examine the token to know if it is worth investing your money in. And then after looking at the token contract address, we will then look at the treasury contract address, because that is where your money is going. Their treasury is where your money is going. So if the treasury is manipulated, what happens? Then your money is gone. If there are critical administrative functions and the owners have access to the liquidity on your treasury, then if they get corrupt, they can decide to do it with your money. So we'll be looking at the treasury contract, and then finally we are also going to be looking at the staking contract, because it is here that has your deposit, investment, ROI, and withdrawal logic. All right, so we are also going to be looking at that aspect too. So without further ado, let's go straight to the uh, token contract. All right, so you can see this is the token contract. All right, if you take a look, you can see that the contract ends in BA6, and then if you go to these features, you can see that this contract is verified, which is a good sign, and it is a standard ERC20 implementation, plus fee, plus bond, and liquidity logic contract, which is a good sign. And then it also uses a recognized libraries like Soulmate. You can see it is actually using Soulmate, which is also a good sign. All right. Okay, so if you take a look at this contract, you can see that, okay, if we go to read contract, let's go to read contract. All right, so if you go to the read contract, you can see that let's go to owner. Let's scroll down. You can see the owner number 22, right? You can see number 22, owner. So if you expand this contract, you can see that there is an address, which means there is an owner. All right, the owner still have access to this particular contract, so the owner can change the key parameters. The owner can do a lot of things, all right, on this particular project. And the owner can do some settings and all that, and then the owner can actually change the marketing address, the treasury address, which is the address that holds your liquidity, and then the burner address. All right, so the owner can actually do all these things by himself. All right, so the owner still have some privileges. Now, apart from that, if we also take a look at this, you see that I can say that this project has a moderate risk. All right, though the code is clean, the owner still have control of the full mechanism and the fees. Okay, so my trust level on this project is, for me, for now, is very low, because when there is a critical administrative functions, a lot of things can be manipulated. All right, so that is it. Now let's go to the treasury contract that ends in 83. All right, so let's go to the treasury contract that ends in 83. So if you take a look at the treasury contracts, you can see that if we click on more, you can see that the contract is verified. But let's click on more. If you click on more, click on is this a proxy, click on is this a proxy, and click verify. All right, so you can see that this is a proxy contract, and you can see what BSSK, it does not seem to be verified. This this contract is not verified. That means your treasury, you cannot tell, because if the proxy contract is not verified, you cannot read the code to actually know if the admin have access to your liquidity, if the admin have access to treasury, if admin can move money from the treasury to another unknown wallet, if the admin can decide to do it with the money on the project and all that. You cannot know this unless this implementation contract is verified. Now you can see that we just opened the contract. Now you can see it ends in 4.5. You can see that the contract is not verified, so you cannot actually read the code to know if there are some critical functions that admin can use to manipulate this particular project. All right, so And one thing you should know about proxy contract is that they can be they can be upgraded. Another address can be coded on it. Admin can change anything on a proxy contract. All right. So for the fact that the treasury is still a proxy contract is a red flag for me, because the admin can actually manipulate the contract will on his own. All right. So they need to do what they need to they need to verify the implementation contract, so that they will be more transparent for users. So if you're investing on this particular project, for now I will advise you invest a very little money. That is if you want to invest on this particular project. All right. So you cannot audit the logic of this proxy contract, and the implementation contract we cannot also do so because it is not verified. All right. So that is that on the proxy contract, on the treasury contract. All right. So now let's go to the uh, to the staking contract. All right. So you can see that this is the staking contract and it ends in 84. All right. So if you click on the contract, you can see that this particular contract clearly defines the logic for staking reward calculation, referral system, referral and team KPI logic is explicit. All right. So everything you can, if you take a look at the code, you can see that everything is on the code here. For instance, if you take a look at line 35, from line 34 to line 37, you can see all the percentage you are earning coded here. All right. They are all hard coded here, so which makes okay, yes, it is actually what you are seeing on the front end that you are seeing on the code, which is also a good sign for the staking contract. But there are some things I discovered on the staking contract. The staking contract is very centralized. All right. The owner has many privileges. Okay. The owner has many privileges. The owner can change the marketing address. The owner can set the next. The owner can set the treasury. The owner can set emergency withdrawal. Emergency withdrawal gives the owner the access to actually pull out money from the treasury anytime he likes, which is a very, very big red flag for me as an investor. All right. And that is it. Then the reward model is heavy and dependent on new stakes or referrals. So the only way they earn money is if there are new persons that are staking on the project, or if you are referring people. All right. The implication is that if people stop staking on this project, the liquidity will drop and they may not have enough money to pay users. That is the implication. So the only thing that will sustain this project is, number one, if people keep on depositing money and people keep on referring new users to the project. Number two, another thing that will make this project to be sustainable is if the admin are not greedy, because the moment they get greedy, they can decide to do what? They can decide to pull out money from the liquidity, since they still have the ownership and they can easily pull out money from the treasury. All right. So this is very risky in terms of sustainability and centralization, because it is not decentralized as they claimed, and the mechanism look plausible though, but the reward model and owner control suggests it may be too risky for significant capital without strong backing. All right. So that is that on that. All right. So after we've done our analysis on the code, you know how we do it. We will also go to other scanners to validate our analysis, to know if other scanners will be saying the same thing that we are saying. All right. So we are going to check different scanners. For the proxy contract, you cannot actually check it since the implementation code is not verified, but we can actually check the token contract and then the staking contract. So we are going to check the token contract on token sniffer. All right, so this is token sniffer, so let it load up. All right, so you can see that tokens, you can see the contract address here, ending in A6, and then you can see that token sniffer is giving this project 20 over 100, which is a very low score, not even up to half. It is 20 is not a pass mark. All right, so and then if you take a look at the swap analysis, you can see that this token is not sellable. That means if you have the, when token sniffer say that this token is not sellable, it means you, if you accumulate this coin, you will not be able to sell it. So how can you get your money back if you are unable to sell the coin, which is very bad. And then contract analysis, yes, the contract is verified just like we saw on chain, but the ownership is not renounced. The contract contains ownership functionality and ownership is not renounced, which may allow the creator or current owner to modify contract behavior. For example, disable selling, change fees, or mint new tokens. There can be legitimate reasons for not renouncing ownership. Check with the project team for such information. So if the ownership of the project is not renounced, then it simply means that for you to invest on this project, the project owner should be known and you need to trust them. All right, for a smart contract project that the ownership is renounced, you may not need to trust the owner since the ownership is renounced. But if the ownership is not renounced, then it simply implies that you need to trust the owners. Then that means the owner should be known, they must be public, they may be on social media or on any platform, and people must know them. They may even need to have a physical address since people are to trust them instead of trusting the contract. All right, because they still have a lot of privileges and a lot of things are still centralized on the particular project. All right, so that is it. Now if we go to dex screener, let's check the coin on dex screener. You can see the name of the coin is NAMM slash USDT. All right, so you can see that on the liquidity here, you can see that we have, they have about $8 million, and you can see that the liquidity is locked, which is a good sign for the liquidity to be locked. But you also need to check how long the liquidity is locked, because it could be that the liquidity is locked for 3 months. All right, so which means after 3 months that me can have access to the liquidity. So you need to check that. Now if you scroll down, you go to security, you can see that they have 5 issues. They have 5 security issues. All right, and those 5 security issues include ownership renounced, that the ownership is not renounced, buy tax is 2%, sell tax 4%, has blacklist, and has whitelist, so they can blacklist you from withdrawing your money from their project. That is what it means. And then quick intel issue, has suspicious functions, which is a very bad remark if they have suspicious functions. And then the honeypot, open source no, honeypot yes. Okay, so buy tax 3%, sell tax 4%. Proxy contract, it is not a proxy contract. So that is, so there are a lot of red flags for now on this project. So I would suggest that before you start investing your good amount of money on this project, that means need to do some put all these things into consideration. If not, you are just risking your money trusting that that means we not deal with it one day. All right, so that is it. And then let's check the staking contracts. All right. Okay, so on checking the staking contract, which ends in 84, you can see that the security score is 61 over 100, which is average. All right, which is average, but there are about 2054 total vulnerabilities found on this particular contract. All right, and then 5 critical issues and 39% of high risk. Now you can see that the risk is moderate, and here it is 55/100. All right, so source code verified, yes, it was discovered, it verified, but they have minting function, presence of bunch function, solidity pragma version. All right, then if you scroll down, you can see that the ownership is not renounced. So the administrator has not renounced the ownership. All right, so you can see the owner's address. So overpowered owners, the contract are using 20 functions that can only be called by the owners. Giving too many privileges to the owners via critical functions might put the user's fund at risk if the owners are compromised or if a rug pulling attack happens. So you can see that there are some critical administrative functions that are here, all right, that the admins need to work on for people to truly trust this project and invest their money in it. So that is my review on this project. So my final verdict is that if you are investing on this particular project, don't invest what you cannot afford to lose, because there is a tendency of rug pull, and the admin has the tendency of doing what, of manipulating this particular contract, since the treasury is still a proxy contract. That is all I have to say about this project. Thank you.